What's up, everybody? Long time no see. So today we're gonna have an utterly original DMT-infused Metroid fever dream, which name is Ultros. Welcome, long time no see. So the Sarcophagus drifts throughout the space, a thrumming celestial arc with a mysterious deity at its thunderous center. Finding the creatures in Haddock's gorgeous debut, Ultros feels recognizable in generalized metroidvania general terms. But this eventually takes a backseat to a most unusual gameplay core, landscaping and nutrishing the curious flora with the massive spacecraft. It is a sizable twist and a genre which often prioritizes the combat, but it's a compelling and encompassing experiment. Once the game's intricate narrative and expectations become apparent, players may find that they don't even need a support to succeed. Immediately recognizable on starting off the game, its work Niklas Akrelbad, popularly known as El Huervo, a visual artist and a musician who rose to considerable fame following his iconic contributions to the Hotline Miami series. Throughout, he's also featured in various other releases over the past decade. So, has Oscar Riedles as A.K. Raddiver, Ultros' lead composer, whose evocative and intimate orchestral work infuse every corridor of the ship its very majesty. So, let's divide it by the pros and cons right now. So the pros, an incredible journey that challenges its genre, and sound and visual design are memorable and stunning. Well, about the cons, well, the actual gameplay is not remarkable and as it was on presentation. It is hard not to explore and describe each member of the development team, primarily because the finished work has the feel of highly coherent and collaborative endeavor. From the quasi-transcendental text and dialogue for the blizzardly beautiful, sometimes unpredictable overgrowth of its unplanned life, Ultros is a haunting interactive experience which also feels warmly personal at the same time. Ultros casts players as Ouija, a mute interstellar samurai who manifests unarmed on the Sarcophagus. Initial explorations reveal the size and the scale of the ship, whose hulls extend into the different biomes, throbbing with the squishy non-colored forest and dangerous creatures. Ouija can jump, slash, slide, and throughout the small spaces, with the additional abilities available to unlock after restraining in spherical chamber checkpoints dotted throughout each area. Instead of XP, the game modest skill tree is satisfied by consuming 4 varieties of nutrition, represented bars, which fill by eating the fruits and flesh of Ultros flora and fauna. Early hours of the game find Ouija slashing beats bloody and squaring off the bosses, observing the psychedelic cues, unlikable background text, and other curious sights and sounds of each zone. It's overwhelmingly alien environment to the point where it's hard to intuit hotspots and key elements right off the bat. But the ship quickly grows more familiar, readable, and even welcoming as each finished cycle returns Ouija back to the start. It might not be accurate to describe the Ultros as a roguelike. Throughout, the loops of rebirth are integral to progress. After silencing a shaman, an incubated and productive entity which serves as the sort of intelligent power source, typically situated behind a boss encounter, Ouija obtains a new extractor tool, an equitable jolt which injects new functionality and potential into the basic gameplay. She's then drawn back to the central spoke of the Sarcophagus and absorbed into the demon Ultros, triggering a destructive event which prompts the cycle to begin anew. Certain changes do persist, like plants blossoming and growing larger, but any shamans cut by her blade remain cut. This is until the player devours alternate methods to contend with the demon. There are several different NPCs to meet, befriend, and comfort in Ultros throughout the garden and remains standout. This gentle alien horticulturist is often the first face Ouija encounters at the start of each loop, and they patiently educate her own real magic potential of the game systems, the cultivation of the plant life throughout the Sarcophagus. With the few additional extractors, Ouija learns how to sow the many strange seeds of Ultros, dig up and replant them, nurture their expansion with the compost, and even splice together different species to create higher reaching platforms and connect large areas. Previously locked barriers can be breached with the connective plant energy, and even once menacing creatures can be swayed with the right snacks. It is in the point that Ultros reveal its wider objects, suddenly those glowing soil beds. Players have run past countless times and understood to be the part of the organic nexus, and the creatures once throughout to be automatically hostile are seen as potentially helpful elements of the Sarcophagus ecosystem. None of it really occurs in a scripted fashion outright, but it's slowly communicated via the mysterious rhythm of the game, encouraging the player to pursue more interesting goals than simply slashing at whatever moves. So, admittedly, there are a few issues with the Ultra's particular movement and combat systems, which can feel stiff and unpredictable in the air, with new abilities supporting trick jumps are not immediately intuitive, and fighting often feels impressive and jagged. Mixing up attacks are required to render the best meat from the game creators, an idea which always feel elegant in practice, and knocking into the damage sources ricochets Ouija clumps into the floor. The reduced emphasis on the straight-up actions tempers these qualities throughout the platforming and gardening system, the more crucial concerns. The ability to wrap around the main is eventually unlocked, but it functionally much differently here than in other metroidvania. In Ultros, players will need to carefully connect tendrils of powers between the budding flowers to enable warp access and trigger a few other systems, which ultimately transforms to the Sarcophagus into a satisfying, daunting word-sized puzzle. Distances between the blooms have to be measured and planned in advance, so it helps that Ultros features an excellent map. Players can use to track creature spawns, plant growth, connected areas, and other elements at a glance. And every plant structure cultivated in a soil bed over successive loops is visible with the 5 detail, which becomes a crucially important asset in the latter stretch of the game. Lengthy portions of the time during the review were spent scripturizing the map and penning back the forward to the plot of the other designs. So, allowing the players to follow the philosophical road from the sword to soil manifest as one of the Ultra's most arresting and unusual maneuvers, its overpowering them of growth, renewal, and repair are illustrated with the subtle poetry and the raw game mechanics. In lieu of the verbose script, and narrative inches more and more toward the spotlight as the characters and explore the pose of the ship is defined over the time. However, images and the video of the game might appear misleading. The action, while serviceable, hits a mechanic ceiling early on, and those looking for scrappy metroidvania may be disappointed with how the combat is generally downplayed, or when given central stage essentially easy and underwhelming. Even the platforming can feel quite rubbery, imprecise, almost include delay at the times. It is not uncommon for a plant to grow in the unpredictable directions of directly trap Ouija between the branch and the wall. But worry not, as this situation can always be resolved by cutting a branch or digging up a seed that replating it wholesale. Further and further in, Ultros' world seems one of the creative, chaotic malleability instead of precision, opening up sequence breaking and weird shortcuts throughout the experimentation. It's a game about amazings, the tools, and the time to crave a connect path with the nature, learning the layout of the land and collaborating with it to continue on. Ultros takes the common ingredients of the modern metroidvania, then they transplant them into the utterly original DMT-infused metroidvania fever dream. It is very best way. And well, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and like. So peace, you guys. Bye.